organization, Cardiff Stop the War Coalition, and the other organizations involved today, Black Lives Matter and Stand Up for Palestine. We would like to pledge a continuing and never-ending solidarity with the Palestinian people today, tomorrow, till liberation, till victory. And when we use phrases like victory, do not be afraid. The great Palestinian intellectual freedom fighter Edward Said used to love to quote a line of poetry, and that poem runs like this: and no race has the monopoly on truth, beauty, intelligence, and force, and there is room for everybody at the rendezvous of victory. Because right now, between the River Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea, there are 14 million people. Half of them have all the rights in the world. The other half have no rights. And that's why, for many Palestinians today, solidarity is spelled in a very simple three-letter word: BDS, boycott, divestment, sanctions. Sanctions is a movement to isolate Israel, just as we isolated apartheid in South Africa, until Palestinians can live freely in their land. That means free from military occupation and siege, free from unequal citizenship and racist laws, free from military checkpoints and being terrorized by illegal settlements, and free from exile and refugee camps, because hundreds of thousands of Palestinians for the last 75 years have rotted in Palestinian refugee camps, denied their right to return home. Now, I just want to say a few concluding words about Yemen. The heroic people of Yemen were enforcing the international ruling that the state of Israel is plausibly committing genocide. Now, I can say all kinds of things, but I'm just going to tell you a story. Have you ever heard the story of the pirate and the emperor? A pirate was brought before Alexander the Great, and Alexander said to the pirate, "How dare you loot my ships and terrorize the people?" And the pirate replied, "Wait a minute. I loot a few ships and terrorize a few people, and I am called pirate and brigand. You terrorize entire peoples and loot entire continents, yet they call you emperor and god. Is that not the world that we live in today? A world of pirates and emperors, where the biggest terrorist in the world is the USA, which stands for the United States of Amnesia, because they never remember their own crimes in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in arming the despots and dictators and tyrants and torturers, the butchers and murderers who hold the Arab people and Arab peoples in chains, in arming the apartheid state of Israel to terrorize and commit genocide against the Palestinian people. There is one terrorist force in the world. That is the United States and its allies. We live in a world gone wrong. The world is out of joint. It's going to take very powerful movements to manipulate things in place. We live in a world where some people die in famine, like in Gaza, while other people feast. Where some people wallow in champagne, while millions of people, like in Gaza, hundreds of thousands of people, are being denied access to clean water. Where the rich live up on the mansion on the hill, while the poor play house under bridges and cardboard boxes. The richest men on this planet have more wealth than most of humanity. That is a crime against humanity. There's those rich men who want to wage war on Palestine, who want to wage war all around the world. And there's two wars in this world today. There's the war being waged on our living standards, on our public services, on our quality of life. And then the wars being waged abroad. There's the same elite, the same establishment, who backvote wars, and we have to bring them down. We have to bring the war home. We have to take them on, and we have to build a new society here. Because to free Palestine, we must also free ourselves.
To recite a poem by a famous poet, Alareer Refaat, and they're going to do it both in English and Arabic. Make some noise!
Okay. Right up like this. Hello? Hello? Right, okay. Can you hear? Yes, someone hold it up. Right, you might notice that today I've brought a white kite with me, and I expect many of you realise why I've done that. It's in honour of the Palestinian Gazan poet Refaat Alareer, who died on December the 6th, 5 weeks after having written this poem. And this poem has sort of gone viral. It's been translated into many, many different languages. And he died, he was murdered, actually, deliberately murdered, on the 6th of December with his brother's son, his sister, and their 3 children. And he was an academic, a poet and a writer from Gaza. He worked in the university in Gaza. The university has now been blown up. And this is his poem. And I'm going to read it first, just so you get the gist of it if you don't know it. And then my friend from Palestine here is going to read it in Arabic properly. Okay, right, here we go. If I must die, you must live. To tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings, make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, awaiting his dad, who left in a blaze, and bid no farewell, not even to his flesh, not even to himself, sees my kite you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope. Let it be a tale.
فعليك أن تحيا لتقص قصتي، لتبيع أشيائي، لتشتري قطعة قماش وبضعة خيوط بيضاء بذيل طويل، حتى طفل في مكان ما في غزة يحدق بالسماء ينتظر أباه الذي غادر على عجل، فلا بلى أن يودع أحد حتى جسده، حتى نفسه يرى الطائرة الورقية، طائرتي التي صنعتها تحلق عاليا، ويظن لوهلة أن ملاكا عاليا يعيد الحب. إذا كان لابد أن أموت. شكرا.
So if my voice breaks, then just bear with me. Os oes rhaid I mi farw, rhaid I chi fyw, I adrodd fy hanes, I werthu fy methau, I brynu dawn o lliain a rai llunynau. Gwnewch yn wyn gyda chyngffon hir, fel y gall plentyn rhywle yn chysa o'r syllu yn llygad yn efoedd, yn aros am ei dad, wedi gadael mewn fflam.
heb farwelio ar neb, nid hyd yn oed i'w cnawd, nid hyd yn oed i'w hunan. Yn gweld y bargyd, fy margyd a wneithoch yn hedfan I fyny uwch ben ac yn meddwl am foment bod angel yno yn dod â chariad yn ôl. Os oes rhaid I mi farw, gadewch iddo ddod gobaith, gadewch iddo fod yn chwedl. I've had the honour of meeting some of Refaat's students over the last few months, and I think we're all witnessing such inhumanity, such depravity on our screens every single day, on our phones, on the TV, and it feels hard to remain hopeful. It feels hard to feel like this world will ever change from the atrocities of empire, the atrocities of genocide which has been committed against people for so long. And for the Palestinian people, they have endured so much for so long, and I think when Refaat was assassinated, it really brought home to me the importance of remaining hopeful, the importance of Palestinian resilience, that we can never, ever, ever let the Palestinian people walk alone. We have to stand in solidarity with them. We have to march with them. We have to fight with them, because the Palestinian people are some of the most brave, inspirational, my dear friends. They have shown me the meaning of life. They are truly deserving of everything in this world, and they've been given nothing. So I just wanted to say that every time we come together, we regain our humanity, we stand in solidarity firm, and we have to keep doing that. Week after week, we have to keep coming out for the people in Gaza, for the people in the West Bank, for the Palestinian diaspora all across the world. We have to keep marching. Thank you.
I've got a few copies of the poem. If anybody wants one, ask me.
Friends, as was being said, hope is tremendously important. One of the founders of my organization, Stop the War Coalition, the late Tony Benn, used to say that in every age, in every generation, in every country, in the heart of every human being, there are two flames that burn. The flame of anger against injustice and the flame of hope for a better world. And it's our role today to fan both these flames. And I think a great source of hope is that in 1967, when the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza and East Jerusalem began, an event took place called the 6 Days War. It took Israel only 6 days to defeat the combined armies of the Arab world. But it's now over 100 days, and the Palestinian resistance has not surrendered. People are rising up all over the world. And so let's pay tribute to the Palestinian people who refuse to submit to the boot of apartheid, refuse to surrender to the forces of occupation and invasion, and will stand steadfast to the end. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to introduce Caroline, who will say a few words.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh, this? Oh, that one. Oh, your whole. Is that okay? Oh, God, is that okay? Hi. Hello, everyone. It's so good to be here this morning and to some extent celebrate the ICJ's ruling that Israel does have a case to answer re-genocide. And I cannot find the words to adequately praise South Africa. But there is still a long way to go. I grew up being taught that Britain is the land of hope and glory, and that our country is the mother of the free. Never have these words sounded more hollow or more shallow than today. These accolades do not belong to Britain. They have passed to 3 other countries. Hope passes to South Africa. This brave country that alone has given Palestinians hope that justice will finally be theirs. And glory must go to Yemen for standing with the Palestinians, a country that has itself suffered bombardment and famine in recent years. And glory to the Houthis for disrupting shipping in the Red Sea. not caused any deaths. With freedom, of course, freedom is for the Palestinians, who after 75 years of brutal occupation, pleased to God that they might finally have freedom, peace and justice. Apart from Britain and the US, of course, one other country is currently filling me with disgust because of its support to Israel, a country which should know better because of its own appalling record of genocide, a country which seemingly has learned nothing from its history and is now supporting another genocide. I am, of course, talking about Germany and its leader, Olaf Scholz. Nevertheless, it's worth noting that according to a recent poll, over 60% of Germans do not support this. Once again, it shows how governments are ignoring the wishes of their people. I say to Olaf Scholz and your government, shame, shame, shame on you.
Shame, shame, shame on you.
Olaf Scholz, shame on you.
Olaf Scholz, shame on you.
I want to finish by briefly talking about one of many inspirational campaigners for the Palestinians. The man in question is a rock star from the legendary band Pink Floyd. I am, of course, talking about Roger Waters. He has long supported the Palestinians, most eloquently and from the heart. He has been to Gaza, the West Bank and East Jerusalem, and has seen at first hand the horrors and the suffering of the Palestinian people. I'm sure many of you know his famous song, Another Brick in the Wall. Well, I assure you, Roger, when it comes to Palestine, we here will never be just another brick in the wall. And so to conclude, I want to read an extract from Roger's latest song. It's called Under the Rubble. You can find it on YouTube. These are his words. Under the rubble, diamonds still shine. Under the rubble, the eyes of tiny children still look out. Under the rubble, there are stars still shining. Under the rubble, there are signs of life and candles that will never go out. Under the rubble, look out for hope, love, justice and peace. Under the rubble, ghosts shine on eternally and help us remember their names for always. Under the rubble, diamonds still shine. Thank you, and free Palestine!
South Africa. Being the global beacon of human rights and justice. So, in South Africa, the South Africans, when they take to the street to march against apartheid, to march for justice, to march against racism, to march against genocide, this is basically the national chant. When I say